Time to wake up. It's Saturday morning. Find some milk and cereal. Grab a bowl and spoon. No, a bigger spoon. Head to the living room and take a seat on the floor while Joseph and Chris present to you Saturday Morning Cartoon!
Hello everybody, welcome to Saturday Morning Cartoon Boom! This is a show where we wake up with the Saturday morning sun, plopped on the floor with a big bowl of sugary cereal, and watch our favorite cartoons, both old and new. I'm Joseph.
And I'm Chris.
And this morning we watched Teen Titans!
You could always shorten it and just be as soon as the episode starts, you could be like, welcome to Boom! Or just start it with Boom! We watched!
Or just be like, Teen Titans! Just say this. Just say the show. They're like, all right.
Just yell the name of what we watched.
Yeah.
And just leave it at that. Yeah.
Any long-time listeners would be like, all right, we don't need all the rest of it. Just tell us what we watched.
We
in
understand.
fact, you don't even need to say that. They can read it in the episode title. Just let's jump into it immediately.
They know what we did.
Right.
So. It's this has one of the most memorable theme songs to me.
Oh, absolutely.
But it makes me laugh because you could say anus in part of it and still it sounds like you're doing the song. Because you're like T-E-E. Wait, what? Did I give too many E's? T-E-E-N-T-I-T A-N-S.
Oh,
and I just say A-N-S and it sounds like I'm saying A-N-S. And that makes me happy.
An excuse to say anus.
Yes. Oh, dude, I've been looking for it forever for this show.
You've been preparing your whole life for this moment.
It's been 4 years coming, man.
It's funny because as much as I've heard that song and sung it to myself or whatever, I have never thought about that. So
you're welcome. I mean, I think it says a lot about you and me, that you're like, yes, that does spell Teen Titans. And I'm like, it says anus.
Yeah.
And to be technical, I mean, what does T-I-T spell right before the anus part? So there you go.
All right.
That's where my brain goes.
That's enough. Who suggested this to us before we ruin it ahead of time?
This was suggested to us by Christopher1295 via Reddit. So thank you very much, Christopher.
Yeah, thank you.
Hope things are going good for you after the rough few months that we know you've had. So I hope things with you and your family are going well.
Absolutely. So the show Teen Titans aired from 2003 to 2006, created by Glenn Murakami, produced by Warner Brothers Animation and then DC Comics for season 5, ran for 5 seasons, 65 episodes on Cartoon Network and Kids WB. For a short synopsis, a team of 5 teenage superheroes save the world from many villains around their city while experiencing things normal teens face today. So who are some of the actors you played in this show?
All right, so most of these actors are the exact same as when we talked about Teen Titans Go to the movies. A very different feel, but all the same actors, and I love them for it. Starfire, voiced by Hinton Walsh. Robin, voiced by Scott Minville. Beast Boy, voiced by Greg Sipes. Raven, voiced by the lovely Tara Strong. And Cyborg, voiced by Carrie Payton. And then the other character that reoccurs for quite a bit, aside from the main 5, is the first major villain they got, which is Slade, voiced in this case by Ron Perlman.
So for a few tasty marshmallows out of our big bowl of Teen Titans cereal, the opening credits of the show feature 2 versions of the theme song, one in English and the other in Japanese, sung by Japanese rockers Puffy Yumi. You remember them?
Yes.
You remember that show they had? Did you watch that ever?
I never watched it, but I knew of it, and I just love them for who they are.
I think it was Hi Puffy Yumi or something, and I watched a couple episodes of it, or at least it seems very familiar to me, so we'll have to do that one day.
I think it might be on our list already.
Really? Okay, well, great.
I think so.
Then we'll randomly choose it one day. So also, the Japanese version is not a direct translation of the English lyrics. Beast Boy, however, sings a translation of the Japanese lyrics in Teen Titans Trouble in Tokyo, which was the not made for TV, but the straight to DVD movie that was done after the series ended.
Yeah. That's really cool.
So, which I've never seen, but I'm curious about.
I do really like the remix of the song that you can hear for Teen Titans Go to the Movies, which I don't know if it's also the theme song for Teen Titans Go, like the regular show, because I haven't watched that before. But you can hear it, I think during the credits of the movie. I don't know. But it just sounds cool. The remix sounds awesome.
Okay, also, the series takes place in an alternate 60s-style world in a fictional city on the West Coast. It's a mixture of San Francisco, Los Angeles, and San Diego. In the Teen Titans Go comic book that's based on this series, it is revealed that the name of the city is Jump City.
Jump City. Did they run out of names for cities? Like, I don't know. I don't. I'm not sold on that one, but I guess it is slightly more creative than Metropolis, which literally that word means a large city. So
Large city.
yeah.
Many parts of the series are inspired by the anime FLCL or Fully Cooley from 2000, most of them being animation style. Occasionally, these references actually involve story and character points. The most repeated example is Beast Boy's love of mopeds, a Vespa motor scooter also used here by Mad Mod, which is in the episode that we watched, belongs to Haruko, the female lead in FLCL.
Okay, I was wondering about that because I was actually just having a conversation with somebody like 2 days ago about FLCL. And then as we were watching this, I'm just like, am I going crazy? I thought I was projecting, but apparently I wasn't.
When I was watching that episode, FLCL didn't cross my mind, but I was like, I know this imagery. Like when he's using that moped, like going across the hallway, I'm like, that looks so familiar to me. I can't place it. But after I read that, I'm like, okay, yeah, I can see the inspiration.
I love FLCL. I just love how ridiculous that thing is.
So what are your memories of this show? Were you really fond of it as a kid? Did you watch it all the time?
I didn't watch it all the time, but like if it was on and I caught it, I would definitely watch it. The thing that sticks with me that I definitely remember was the storyline with Tara.
Oh yeah.
That was the one thing that and as we watched these episodes, 2 out of the 3 were ones that I'm like, oh yeah, I definitely watched this one. But the whole saga with her was something that always stuck with me because I feel like it was one of those cartoons where it was just like one of those early ones that made me think more deeply and philosophically than I'm used to with a cartoon, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it probably hit me around that age that I was starting to get more of that from different things, because around that time is when I would have been watching things like Gundam Wing and other stuff like that kind of starts introducing those more adult kind of ideas to it. Not that this is an adult show, but like they go through some in especially in one of the episodes that we watched for today, there's some real deep and adult themes to some of it. So yeah, like that's something that always stuck with me from that show, and I always appreciated Teen Titans because of that.
This is when I came to the party kind of late because it came out basically our senior year of high school, 2003.
Yep.
And I don't know that I caught much of it at that point. But after the fact, I started hearing a lot of hype about it. And so I started catching it whenever I could. I never watched the series in its entirety, but I do know about the Tara episodes and everything that goes on in that. And also a lot of these I had seen at least bits and pieces of. So I'm familiar with the characters, familiar with the world, just not, I didn't have a full understanding of the whole universe of it. So even just watching these kind of helped to fill in some of those gaps. So
yeah, I think we're probably about in the same boat as far as how familiar we are with this stuff. Whereas Rochelle, who is quite a bit younger than us, watched, I think, most of this. So she's very familiar with it. So I just think that's kind of interesting because, yeah, we were at that age where we were starting to most of the animation we probably consumed was Adult Swim and Toonami stuff.
Yeah.
So we were almost out of that age where we would actually be catching this stuff as it was airing and stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas someone like her was making sure that she sees it. So.
Yeah, and so it was nothing about the show at all. It was just about the timing of it for us in particular in our lives.
Right.
But with that said, let's go ahead and jump into the episodes we watched for today's show. The very first episode, highest read episode, and finally a random listener chosen episode. Order may vary depending on how these episodes fall chronologically, but of course we have to start with the very first episode, which was Final Exam, Season 1, Episode 1. And in this episode, Slade hires the newest graduates of the Hive to take on the Teen Titans. So Slade, for anybody who doesn't know, just real quick, is Deathstroke. But obviously they're not going to use the name.
They couldn't use the name
Deathstroke in a kid's cartoon.
Yeah, they couldn't do it, which is fine. Slade was pretty intimidating, but like I never knew at that point when I was watching this as a teenager, I wasn't as familiar with DC as I am now. I knew a lot of Batman stuff, and my knowledge of everything else was fairly limited. I knew some Superman things because I mean everyone knows a little bit about Superman because he's like the poster boy for DC, aside from Batman. But like everything else, I didn't know a lot, so I didn't realize for quite a while that Slade and Deathstroke were the same character. Especially because his design was, I mean, there's some similarities, but also very different.
To add to that a little bit, so Slade is his actual name. I think it's actually Slade Wilson. Just like Deadpool's name is Wade Wilson, and it's Deadpool instead of Deathstroke. So Deadpool is like not a ripoff per se of Deathstroke.
I mean, he's basically a ripoff.
But he's kind of a ripoff of Deathstroke, even so much in that they're both mercenaries. Like Slade in this show is not as much of a mercenary bounty hunter as he was in the comics. He's more of just like a mastermind, I guess, or villain.
Yeah, he's the super villain in this one, you know? Like he's the Shredder of this show.
Right, but it suits him well. Like it works, and Ron Perlman's voice in there works so great with it. Like he sounds so intimidating.
It's so good. It's so good. I loved it. And he we've heard Ron Perlman like do voice acting before where he was barely even phoning it in. So he really did a great job with this one.
Oh yeah. Also, so in this episode, like I said, he hires these, well, not hires, but kind of employs these students from Hive who are like the top students of their class. These three students, Gizmo, Jinx, and Mammoth. So it's this one kid who reminded me a lot of, if you go back to Superman, like the way that they used to do like Mr. Mxyzptlk or whatever.
Yeah. Are you talking about Gizmo?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I totally got that too. Especially with the way they drew his eyes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I like the visual style of this show a lot. I do want to say that because we watched 2 episodes from season 1, we watched 1 episode of season 3. In season 3, it looks much better, like much cleaner, crisper, more refined. But even this, just like character design and everything, I love it. I think they did an amazing job.
And this was one of the first shows to actually, at least one of the first shows that I know of that really mixed that style of sort of a more westernized anime
Exactly,
with
yeah.
that, kind of cartoonish style. So it's almost like a precursor to Avatar, Last Airbender.
Yeah. It reminds me of that a lot. And I like that they use a lot of anime tropes in this too.
Oh, yeah.
You know, with like something happens and their heads get really big, or you get that like popping blood vessel and stuff like that.
Like the giant sweat drops and stuff, or where their eyes go completely like white and get the huge mouths. Yeah. It's like all that stuff works so well in this show. It doesn't seem like it would because there's also a very serious tone to it at times, but I think it mixes it like perfectly. This is a great blend of both of those styles. And I think that's why it's retained and had such a huge fan base for so long.
Absolutely.
Because especially at the time it came out, it was very unique for what it was. Because if you're thinking about it like a mixture between some of the older DC shows like Batman the Animated Series or Justice League, like those are great shows, but they would never do any of those like anime style exaggerations. It's not always serious. There is comedy to it, but it's much more like downplayed. Whereas this like fully embraces the comedy while also paying respect to the serious, heavy tones.
Yeah, it kind of felt like an anime that wanted to be in the style of Bruce Timm.
Yeah.
It's basically an anime at heart, but it looks like a Bruce Timm sort of production. And I love that about it. I mean, anything Bruce Timm does is visually amazing. I love it. And then anime is just like even most Western anime, like I love that stuff. Like there's very few that I've ever watched that I haven't been like head over heels for. So mixing the two, great idea.
Yeah, agreed. And so I think, like, just to summarize this a little bit, or to kick it off with this episode. So the students of Hive that we mentioned before, they are tasked by Slade with defeating the Teen Titans. You know, they never say kill or anything, but, you know, vanquishing or defeating the Teen Titans or whatever it is. They do this by going into, you know, confront them really in their own home base. Like, after they have like a smaller fight where Robin gets sort of lost he gets sort of thrown down into a ditch, or not a ditch, but a large crack in the ground. So presumably, like, he could be dead. It's episode 1, so he's not going to be. But the other guys are just like, we don't know. He's disappeared. Like, we have no idea where he is. They go back to their base defeated by the 3 supervillains who set something up that's like, it's very supervillainy, but it's also like, I see where they pulled back some. They have this like bus, Gizmo triggers it to like start driving down this hill, and they put a baby carriage in front of it. But even the baby carriage is like a booby trap.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have a real baby in there, obviously, for the cartoon, but the implication is there. So it's like the stakes are high, but not so high that it's like not appropriate for kids.
Yeah, and it was interesting to see in the first episode that the Teen Titans pretty much get manhandled. Like, they didn't even have a chance at beating these guys. So it shows you that, I mean, they're already a team, but they are not a high-functioning team just yet. I do think that it's a little on the nose that they're called the Hive, and they literally fight in a big tech beehive.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, they really went for a theme here.
You know what, though? I appreciate that. There's a great simplicity
like
to
themes.
that I like. Yeah.
I just was like, that's really silly. I would love to see them all dressed as bees.
Oh, that would be even better.
Fantastic.
Even better for me.
But yeah, so Robin gets separated while the Teen Titans are down because they lost that first battle. And they're like, what do we do about Robin? They get hit again, where the Hive busts through literally into their fortress, defeat them again, gets them kicked out of their own tower. And I did like the scene where the 3 Hive members are kind of just goofing with their stuff. Jinx is like going through Raven's wardrobe and is like, why does she have nothing but blue? Mammoth's eating everything in the fridge, and all of it's like expired and covered in like blue fuzz.
Yeah.
Gizmo's like going through, well, we find out later he alphabetizes all of Beast Boy's albums, which drives Beast Boy insane, and he gets really upset about it.
It's so funny because he's like,
that part was fun.
After he finds out their alphabetized, he's like, now I don't know where anything is.
This is the thing that I think was, I didn't care for this episode that much. I didn't think it was very strong. I think it was fine at introducing the characters, but it was not a strong episode. And that sounds very pretentious, but I'm going to explain. So during that last battle that they had, Cyborg lost his arm, and not that it got cut off. He is a cyborg, so it just got pulled out. It's fine. It's a robot arm. They have this like emo kind of fight outside the tower amongst themselves, and they're like, "Are we breaking up?" sort of thing. And that's when Robin shows up, like 100% fine. Not a scratch on him. Like, where have you been? Like, he's just been hanging out. Like, he went, got a burger.
Not even an explanation as to what happened to him. Just like, hey guys, I'm back. I know I fell down a large hole, a cavern, but I'm cool.
The way that they win, this is what drives me crazy, is like these 3 villains beat the whole Teen Titans team. But then frickin' Cyborg, and I'm assuming it's I'm assuming it's Robin's idea because it didn't happen until Robin came back. He remotely activates his arm, which Hive has hung up as a trophy, and that arm basically defeats the 3 of them by itself, you know, and lets the team back into the tower. And I'm like, but how? Okay, you tell me this arm can defeat these 3 villains that beat the whole Teen Titans team? Like, what?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, I get what you're saying. Like, I don't think it was a weak episode or anything, but I do think that it seemed a little like that arm just became a Deus Ex Machina, and it was like, I was thinking the exact same thing as you. Like, didn't they just beat the whole team? How is this arm like overpowering them? But I'm trying to like rationalize it by thinking like, okay, well, it caught them by surprise because they weren't prepared for it, whereas they came into the other battle completely prepared because they were planning on this. So the arm caught them off guard. Then the rest of the Titans actually come in and are able to defeat them. Now, Jinx's powers, I was really interested in because I always like luck-based powers. Like I like Longshot in the Marvel universe and Domino also, but these are like bad luck powers or anti-luck, I guess. And so it's like she shoots these little rays that whatever it touches, like some unfortunate thing happens to them. So I thought that was a cool power for her to have. Mammoth is the big strong guy, and Gizmo, I guess he's just a regular kid, but he's like a really
baby, like hyperactive Tony Stark.
Yeah, he's very intelligent and great with tech. Like that's his whole thing.
Yeah, so he's making all these gadgets that, you know, he can hack the entire like fortress, all kinds of stuff. I did laugh, though, when Beast Boy turned into the T-Rex and Mammoth screams. Like, that was funny.
Yeah.
That was good. So it's like the action that, to me, some of it didn't make sense. And I was kind of like, the comedy of this helped me accept this episode, and that sounds pretentious too, but like it's like I didn't care for this episode. Out of all of them, this is the one I like the least, but like some of the moments like that really pulled me back in and was just like, yeah, I see where like this is the seeds of the show that I eventually really enjoyed.
Well, because it's like they also like never turn un-superhero. Like they don't ever dress down and they don't ever really call each other by their names. They're always in costume and they're always calling each other by code names. Like from what I was reading, the producers of it or the people who were creating it wanted to make it as simple as possible in that way. Like they didn't want to overcomplicate it for kids by having like secret identities and having to worry about real world situations and things like that. Like they wanted to kind of intertwine all of that. And I think they did so successfully.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it was good.
I mean, moral of the story, the Titans get their tower back, but Slade gets his... in Slade's mind, it was still a success because he got them, you know, understanding that he is around and he is a concern. Because really, he's just like, Robin at the end, he has him on repeat saying like, who is Slade? And so that's where it's like, okay, so this is kicking off the series knowing that Slade is going to be a huge threat.
The thing I really enjoy about Slade in this show is he plays mind games.
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of his whole thing. Like the rest of it doesn't matter. It's not like he's trying to, like, at least in the episodes we watched, he's not trying to take over the world or something. He is trying to destroy this team.
Yeah, from the inside, eventually.
Exactly.
So the second episode we watched for today's show was Mad Mod, season 1, episode 10, and this was one chosen by Christopher?
Yes, it was.
In this one, Mad Mod captures the Titans and tries to brainwash them. The Titans are trapped in a weird virtual world. Can they find their way to the real world without being brainwashed? So this this reminds me a lot of Arcade from Marvel. I make a lot of Marvel references because that's what I knew before I knew DC. So it always makes me tie it back to that. But yeah, this is totally an Arcade situation if you're familiar with that character.
Yeah, I think both of us are probably just more familiar with Marvel than we are with DC. But so yeah, we always tie things back. But yeah, I was like watching this and I'm like, they took Austin Powers and turned him into Arcade.
Yeah.
I was like, what is this?
Like, I don't even know if that was like I've never heard of Mad Mod, so I didn't know what to expect coming into this episode. I liked it, but I was really unfamiliar with this. So maybe he's a comic book character too in some form, but this was an interesting take because he captures them presumably to train them or teach them a lesson or something for being naughty kids or something like that.
I think he's a pervert.
Well,
I think that's what he's up to.
Tough to say, but
yeah,
he has this like giant. His setup is like this giant like academy where he's the teacher, he's the headmaster, trying to
he's very British.
Take these kids through individual classes. Well, by kids, I mean the Titans through all these classes to presumably just brainwash them. And I think what he was saying was just wipe their minds. And I'm not sure if he was ultimately trying to use them as his own personal slaves or what, but it really just like got to the point where he was trying to brainwash them, wipe their minds. And by kind of pulling a Clockwork Orange situation where he was trying to like pry their eyes open so they would have to watch this screen. But the screen is really just like the hypnosis kind of circle thing.
I'm glad you mentioned that because that was exactly what I was thinking too. Like they're definitely calling back to A Clockwork Orange, especially with that scene with Starfire because she was strapped down, her eyelids were forced open.
Yep.
It was kind of it's sadistically cool.
I enjoyed that. Like none of them really got hypnotized except for Beast Boy, who kept getting hypnotized.
It happened to him 6 times throughout this episode, and I was cracking up every time. I just loved it.
So it's kind of a lighthearted show. Well, half of it is anyway. But Beast Boy is definitely the comic relief. Even if all the characters can be funny at times for different reasons, Beast Boy is the one you go to for pure comedy.
Yeah, and he did not disappoint in this one. It was that was my favorite part of this episode was that he kept getting hypnotized, and then he'd get the like spirally eyes, and he'd be drooling everywhere. I love that the only way to wake him up was to make him laugh, but like only certain things would make him laugh, like the first time Cyborg had to belch really loud in his ear and then he starts cracking up and that wakes him up. And it's like just things like that every time. Like another time Starfire's trying to tell him jokes and it's not working because like her jokes aren't funny. But then she goes, boogers? And then he just wakes up and he's like, boogers.
Yeah.
And just stuff like that. It was great.
It's also the way that she says it. Like the person who played Starfire did so well because she sounds like an alien trying to fit in with
unsure,
with Earth's cultures, because I think she even says like boogers, like she doesn't even know the word.
She says boogers. Yeah, she did great. Hynden Walsh.
Hynden Walsh, fantastic.
I love her.
What's funny is like some trivia I read was that Tara Strong originally wanted to go for that part. That's what she had initially tried out for, but she ended up, of course, getting Raven after like. Okay, so she tried out for Starfire first, and then Hynden Walsh came in and just kind of blew everybody away with her performance. So like, oh, you're definitely Starfire. And then Raven was kind of they were having a lot of trouble finding an actress for Raven. So Tara Strong kind of won it by, not default, but she came in with the voice and they were okay with it. But then she kind of like, just on a whim, made her voice a little bit more gravelier and kind of like, I think... they said it was like Zelda Rubinstein from Poltergeist, except a little raspier. And so they were like, oh, this is perfect. And I agree with that. Like Raven sounds exactly like she looks like she should.
Yeah.
The same with Starfire.
Yeah, they couldn't have done better because like no matter what, if I'm reading a comic, those are the two voices I hear for them every time.
Yes.
Doesn't matter how old the characters are supposed to be, I still hear those voices.
Yeah, it's just the same as like Kevin Conroy as Batman, like, or Mark Hamill as a Joker. Like you just picture those voices when you see those characters or when you're reading those characters.
But yeah, so how did you feel about the villain? How'd you feel about Mad Mod? Because he was annoying to me, but like, I don't know. This was an episode I had seen before when I was younger, and I remember not liking this. And I think, I don't know if it was because I was just like, it's just trying to be arcade, and that's kind of annoying. I'm not entirely sure what it was about it, but I was just kind of like, I think I liked it a little bit more as the episode went on. And I really enjoyed the end because I didn't remember that reveal at the end that he's actually an old man and it's been a simulation and stuff. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and they were like on an oil rig the whole time or something.
Yeah.
The reveal was cool. I didn't dislike the character, but I wasn't a big fan of him either. I did enjoy the episode, though. Even though it felt like a filler episode, there was a lot of great comedy to it, especially in comparison to the first episode that we had just watched. And so I liked the kind of the mid-section chase scene where they're going through all the doors. I thought that was really cool. And the music that was playing, that was also another original song by Puffy Amiyumi.
And that whole scene was a big nod to Scooby-Doo. Because they were doing everyone running around. They even did the hallway of doors gag where everyone's running through these different doors. And each time they go through one, they pop out of a different one in like a different order or something ridiculous happens. Like Beast Boy slides through as a whale and just all kinds of silly stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you know, Mad Mod's chasing them. The next door, he's being chased by the Titans. Just all of that stuff, and I like that a lot.
That's
That was
also
good.
That's also where the moped came in too, because I think
Yes,
in
yes, it
that
was.
scene, yeah. So it's an episode that you don't necessarily like, have to see, but it's also one that you can watch blindly and not be missing out on any of the backstory or anything, because it's in
Right.
continuity, but it's like a kind of a side episode. So
Yeah.
it's still a
Yeah.
fun one. The characters are still great in it. Mad Mod's a forgettable villain, but he wasn't terrible. He was just kind of there.
Yeah. He is very forgettable, but it was still like a fun episode. But also like probably real seizure inducing. Just FYI for
Oh.
anybody that's like, you know, prone to those kind of things.
I'm always afraid of that. When I start seeing flashing white lights, it's never happened to me, but I'm always afraid I'm going to be that percentage of people who that does happen to when I see that.
You're like,
So
this
I always
is the
start to,
one.
I always start to kind of squint whenever those things start happening because I'm like, or start to look away a little bit if it's going
Yeah.
on for too long.
Like, is this the one that's finally gonna take me down? I don't know.
Is this the one that's going to trigger it finally? But luckily, no, not in this episode. But the last episode of today's show was Haunted, season 3, episode 5. And this was the highest rated episode. And in this one, the Titans set out to stop Slade, who has mysteriously returned. The main problem, Robin is the only one who can see him. That is a problem because kind of right away you start to get the feeling that, you know, it's in Robin's head, but then you start to question yourself after certain things start happening.
Well, I don't know. I question most things about myself, so like this wasn't very new for me. Like I still could question. I don't even know where I am right now, and I'm just gonna assume that I'm in the right place.
So by this point, they have defeated Slade. Supposedly, he's supposedly dead because he got thrown into some lava.
Well, yeah, that usually does it.
Yeah.
You know?
So Robin kind of starts having first of all, he goes and he's kind of looking at Slade's gear in there. And then after he sees this equipment, he starts to get really paranoid about it and start hearing Slade talking to him again.
Yeah. And I want to say two things real quick. For one, this animation here is super crisp. Colors are really sharp. You can tell pretty quickly that there's definitely been some changes, not just to how the show looks, but I mean, like the characters and things like that. There's definitely been some changes to personality for a few of them. Like, and I don't mean like they've just changed. I mean, like you can tell they've progressed. And I
Yeah.
like that. Like Cyborg was pretty obvious and well, I guess Robin actually the most obvious, but both of those two, it was pretty evident that their characters had done a lot of growing up until this point. So I like that.
Yeah, I think that's something that was really interesting about the team in general is that they do start out kind of rough and like you said, or like we had said, get beaten by those Hive recruits. So they're really like disorganized at first and they do start to grow closer as a team and just become better heroes as the series progresses.
One thing I really liked was when so Beast Boy got sick and every time he sneezes, he turns into another freaking animal.
Oh, yeah.
And that's great. Like that was cracking me up.
Something I thought was interesting also, and I don't know if it carried over in the comics at all, but I like that Beast Boy's a vegetarian because he says it feels like cannibalism because he's probably turned into most of those animals.
Well, and it makes sense because I honestly, before that happened, I thought about that. And I was just like, oh, that's got to be kind of weird if he like turns into like a cow, but he eats, you know, burgers and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, but he just doesn't do that. And I'm like, I really like that amount of detail in the characters. I think that was fantastic.
Right. This is a small detail, but it makes sense. And you're like,
Mhm.
yeah, like I could totally see that.
Yeah, absolutely. So the episode goes on where there's all these instances of Robin having run-ins with Slade, and it's meant to make everybody question him, including us, because we're seeing Slade just like Robin is, but it gets revealed like Starfire is around at one point and she doesn't see or hear him, and Robin's kind of freaking out about it, and then another confrontation with Slade, the Slade that we're seeing is trying to justify it, saying like, you don't know about cloaking technology, and so Robin's like, of course that's what it is. It just keeps getting worse and worse, and the other Titans are like, there is no Slade. It's not happening.
And it's like you said, like we start questioning it because we see Robin getting like physically beaten up. Like his costume starts to get like torn to shreds. He's got bruises and like a black eye and stuff. And it's like, what? Like how, if this was just his imagination, how would this be happening?
Exactly. So yeah, it was really interesting in that. And then at one point the Titans like strap him down to this bed and they're monitoring his vitals, all of that kind of stuff, and trying to keep him from hurting himself and to figure out what's going on, because he actually threatened them because he thought they were getting in the way. And that was like a big moment for them, because they were just kind of like Starfire had said at one point, like, he's never been this angry. He's never been that angry with me, because him and Starfire have kind of had this, like, I don't know, almost like unspoken relationship at that point, I think. I don't know if it had actually blossomed into anything at that point. I don't remember where that falls into the show, but they're definitely scared. They're scared of what's happening to him.
And one of the moments that kind of like scared me a little bit was where he is having that confrontation with Starfire specifically, and he just grabs her arm really tight.
Yeah.
And she says like, "You're hurting me." And I'm like, man, like I felt that. Like that felt really real to me. And so it made me, it's like, that's a great example of the balance between like the humor that's going on one part of it and these really serious moments that ground you.
I love that, because this is kind of the quintessential thing that I think about with Teen Titans, is when they get to this point and it's like, like things aren't always just jokes and silly villains and stuff like that. Like they tackle some pretty hardcore things like in this. So it has the possibility of getting way worse if they don't confront it. And I do like how like Robin eventually figures it out for himself what's happening, that he's hallucinating and seeing Slade and stuff like that, and he's hurting himself, and that it's only occurring in darkness. So he turns a light on like in the midst of one of these big fits, and then it's discovered that because aside from that, Robin is obsessed with Slade. Slade's defeated. Robin doesn't trust that he's defeated. So Robin was kind of like, it was becoming a self-fulfilling prophecy, and that like his obsession with Slade possibly being out there created Slade there. But it turns out that he had been looking at Slade's mask, and his mask physically had something on it, like a chemical agent that got into Robin's system and it messed with his mind. But what's revealed, I think it was Starfire and Cyborg, I don't remember if the others were present. Robin definitely didn't hear it. The agent was actually triggered by a signal that occurred outside the tower. So it wasn't just that, like somebody actually sprung that on them. So then it kind of gives you that idea of like, oh God, like, is Slade still alive?
Yeah. It's like, is this something he's just had set up and it's happening from beyond the grave, or is he still there and he activated this remotely? Like they don't give you any kind of more information past that, but that's enough of like it's
enough to make you question like what's real and what isn't, for sure, because it's just like you spend this whole episode thinking, okay, well, like maybe Slade is around, and then you go to, okay, there's no way Slade's still alive, and now again you're like, oh God, like he might be alive.
Well, Chris, looks like it's about time we send our inner kids off to apply to be part of the pre-Titan subgroup, the Kid Cadets, who take care of important tasks like finding the remote. Then see what they thought of the show, Teen Titans.
Teen Titans was really fun because you got all these kids with superpowers and they get to beat up bad guys, but they still burp and laugh about boogers. Just like me. So now I want to be a Titan once I'm a teenager, because I gave this cartoon 4.5 bowls of shape-shifting sneeze cereal out of 5.
Whereas Go basically dumped the serious tone and high stakes, going 100% towards the humor and anime-esque exaggerations, the original balanced that out by taking on a very serious tone with fairly high stakes at times. Still, both worked for me. In addition to that, the characters are all likable, the situation's relatable, and the mixed animation style was right up my alley. Overall, I'd give Teen Titans 5 big bowls of furry blue food cereal out of 5, and I highly recommend you check this one out.
You should check this out. Also, check out Teen Titans Go, which I have not done except for the movie. So maybe someday I'll check that out too.
Yeah, but the movie really did sell me on Go. And
yeah. I just wonder because there's so many people that hate the show, but I'm like, but the movie was so funny. So if it's like that, then how do people not love the show? Because I loved the movie.
I know I feel like it's like people who aren't open-minded enough to appreciate both, because I really think you can, just on different levels.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with that. And I want to check it out regardless. Like the movie sold me, so I'm definitely going to check it out. And I don't care how different it is because they're two different things. It'll be fun. But what are your closing thoughts on this show before we're out of here?
So this one, like I said, I didn't have too much familiarity with it. I mean, I knew the characters, I knew the world and everything, but this was a good glimpse into some of the variety that it had. And I really do intend to go back and watch the rest of it. I enjoyed the show for sure. So I'm glad that we got to jump back into it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Although, like I said previously, I don't think the first season was fantastic, but you can see in season 3, once we got there, just how much progression that there was for the characters and the show overall. Honestly, the episode we watched is exactly the kind of things that come to my mind when I think about Teen Titans and what really makes it as good as it was. But it's a show I'd watch more of for sure, because I know there's plenty of episodes that I missed back in the day. And if the show returned, which I've heard rumors that it might, I would absolutely want to go back and check it out.
Oh, that's something we should mention is, because like we said in Teen Titans Go to the Movies, we have that reveal at the end. We won't go into entirely, but basically what I think is being worked on is Teen Titans versus Teen Titans Go. So it's going to be a great crossover movie in the works. I don't know if it's going to turn into a show again, like a full-fledged show, but we'll at least get that movie.
That would be cool. I would be down for seeing that.
Yeah, I think that'd be a lot of fun.
And we have a new 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. And this comes from Erica Hasink. Erica. And it is titled Well-Crafted Nostalgia. She says, what a delight to revisit the cartoons of my youth and to learn about some truly obscure and downright weird cartoons. These two dudes have a pure love of this stuff and have a well-constructed podcast that flows well and feels well-directed but full of heart. So thank you so much, Erica. That was super sweet. That was one of the nicest things that I think has ever been said about us.
It really probably was. Yeah, thanks, Erica. That
I'm batting my eyes at the microphone right now. I know you can't see it, but just maybe you'll hear them flutter.
It makes me feel a lot better than the last one did. That was like, Joseph is very Texan.
It's true though. That's what makes it funny.
Oh. But no, really, thank you. And thank you, Christopher1295, for suggesting this to us. It's great that we got to watch it again because it's been a very long time, and I do intend to finish this one.
Heck yeah.
Well, listeners, it looks like our milk supply is now run dry, so it's time for us to say goodbye. And next week, we'll be watching
Batman versus the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And that is because we have been waiting for this to come out ever since the comic books came out, and Joseph and I loved them. And then this came out, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, I think. So then we knew that we had to get on this as soon as we could. So that's what we're doing, and we excite. Hype
Much
reel,
excite.
Everyone. Hype
Much
reel.
excite.
Get the hype.
So hype.
Show your hypes.
If you love Batman, if you love Ninja Turtles, either one, Turtle Power. Turtle Bat Power.
Birtle.
God. Birtle Power.
Birtle Power.
That sounds gross.
Yep. We've ruined another episode.
All right. Well, once again, I'm Joseph.
And I'm Chris.
And we'll see you next Saturday.
Presented by Nerdsloth.
A place for lazy nerds.
If you like what you heard, consider donating at patreon.com/nerdsloth so we can continue bringing you quality shows. Be sure to also leave us a review and share your favorite episodes and clips on social media. If you're looking for more content, visit us at nerdsloth.com.